There we go. All right, we are live and we are getting joined by people. Do you have how many people you have on your side, Shahadat?
I just ended the live.
All right, great. Here. There we go. Oh, Hassan Oud joined. Wonder who that is. Okay, there we go. We're getting people.
Hi, everyone.
Hey everyone, thank you for joining our stream. Today we're going to be doing the open Q&A session. So we usually do these interviews with different experts, different people in different fields. But today we decided to introduce ourselves and answer your questions. Pretty much it's an AMA session, ask me anything type of session, where you guys can ask us, whatever questions you want. And we're going to be answering them, all five of us. So yeah, feel free to ask anything. And if you want to ask anything about the diaspora, if you want to ask anything about our personal things, you're welcome to do so. Not just, just don't go too far with the social security and everything, but but yeah, why don't we start with Hassan? Why don't you tell a little bit about how we started with Big Diaspora, why we started and everything, and
Let's do quick introductions maybe, and then we'll move on
to
that.
With personal introduction. Yeah. All right. But I guess I can start. So yeah, my name is Nilufar. For those who don't know me, I am currently living in Miami. I've been in the United States for 6 years. Came here as a student for high school after getting a scholarship, and I've been living here since. I went to 3 different colleges after high school and ended up dropping out to do my own business. And I've been in different businesses, but currently I'm in the IT sphere and I work completely remote. So yeah, I co-founded this organization with my wonderful colleagues here who are also going to introduce themselves. And yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so if anyone has any questions about IT or starting your own business, that's going to go to Sartar, so feel free to ask questions. I'll take on from here. So my name is Shahadat Khanbabayeva. I moved to the US in 2013, just so you can have that information as well. And currently I'm in college. I go to college in New York. I am in my 3rd year, majoring in finance. So I am about to finish up with my co-op, which is like a 6-month long internship with IBM, and looking forward to starting another one in January with EY. So if you guys have any questions about, applying to internships, like the whole onboarding process, anything like that, or networking, I will be able to answer those questions for you. So with that, I will pass it on to Hassan to introduce.
Okay, Hassan, I think you're on the mute, but yeah, there we go.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Hassan. I currently live in New York City, and it's my last term. I'm about to graduate from CUNY. My major is economics, and I'm about to start a long career path, hopefully, and hopefully it'll be successful. And I've moved out to the States 7 years ago, and I lived in Dubai for about a year. I did sales there for like a little less than a year, and that was fun times. Learn a lot of stuff. Sales teaches people a lot of stuff, so communication skills and how to build relationship customers and stuff. It was a good learning experience for me, and it boosts confidence as a young man. And I decided to upgrade my school education and qualification, and decided to come to the States since it's one of the most wonderful countries in the world, right? It offers best quality of education. I know the example of mine is, but I've been having a lot of fun out here in the States, learning, studying, working, being responsible for me and for my family and for friends. And being an immigrant is a lot of work. You work twice as hard as our last guest Shahina mentioned, and we made great friends here. And I became active a little on LinkedIn and other social networks, and I found out that there's so many Uzbek people who are highly qualified, who have great level of education and great experience and good speaking skills. And I thought maybe they should be able to share their experiences with a lot of people who need this information, And like every nation every nation has some role models, no matter what, right? Even in America, people are very how do you say, integrated. Black people look up to other black people. White people look up to other white people. It's not like Jewish people have their own role models and stuff. And Uzbeks needed that kind of role model, that image. And I think we have a lot of examples of people who are successful, and we could just present them to the public, and people can look up to and learn and adjust their life in a different country, And we decided to build this network, and we decided to call it Uzbek Diaspora, since it's all inclusive, So yeah.
So I think you muted yourself accidentally, Hassan. But yeah, definitely, we're going to be talking about how this whole journey with Uzbek diaspora started. Let's just really quickly introduce Shahla and Bigzad as well, and then we'll continue about our journey at the organization.
Thank you so much, Hassan, for talking all about your journey. It was great to hear. And so a little about me. I came to the United States in 2013. Just like Shahodat did. And since then, I went to high school and then I went to college. And all of my life, I thought that I would be in medical field, but accidentally, I ended up in business and finance. And currently, I am studying finance, and I'm really grateful for that opportunity. I really do love finance, and I am passionate about women's rights. And I'm also a storyteller. I do a lot of promotions on LinkedIn. I started writing on LinkedIn starting this year, 2020, and since then I have shared a lot with the public, and I really did love my journey with LinkedIn. And one of the reasons being with the UT is because of the LinkedIn as well, and I really can't wait for all the amazing things that we will be doing. And I have plans on joining LinkedIn next year, and I'm so excited. Thank you.
Yeah, that's funny because I wanted to go into the medical field before I ended up in finance too. Yeah. I feel like that happens for a lot of people. They go into medical, then they switch to business.
Yeah, definitely.
And lastly, we have Bigzad. Go ahead.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Bigzad, and I'm currently located in Berlin, Germany. I've been here for almost 7 years. I've finished my university bachelor's here, and my field was mechanical engineering. I was in Technical University of Berlin, and currently I'm working as a product lifecycle management consultant, the long name, in one of German companies. And we mainly work for, we are kind of B2B business. We work for businesses, and we provide processes, systems, and software for example, Mercedes, Volkswagen, and other German and international companies. At the same time, I also do my master's degree in the field of biomedical engineering. Yeah, talking about medicine, it's also related to medicine, but we pretty much prepare or design tools and devices for doctors, for example, diagnostic machines or therapy machines like ultrasound for ultrasound therapy, radiography, and so forth and so on. Yeah, I'm also very happy to be here with you guys. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. That's amazing.
All right, so we could start talking about how Uzbek Diaspora started as an organization. Let's just address a few, not questions, but somebody said hi. So hello, assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum assalam rahmat kete yaxshi loyihaga qo'l urib sizlar. Rahmat. So now we can talk about Uzbek Diaspora, how it started, and Hassan and Sardar will start us off as they were the ones that at least started the page with that goal in mind. So go ahead.
Yeah, I think I can take this one. So, it all started like back in New York when Hassan actually started a group one day called Uzbek Diaspora on LinkedIn, and I had no idea the groups on LinkedIn were actually a thing. So I was very excited. I was like, wow, that's probably going to be much more legitimate than Facebook groups, because it all started as a group thing. But then I learned from my friend the purpose why he initiated is because he wanted to unite the Uzbeks around the world, and there was actually a bigger purpose. So it quickly grew beyond that, right? And yeah, Hassan, why don't you tell a little more about how we got joined by other individuals, other young leaders, and yeah.
Yeah. Most of these wonderful things usually start from like accidentally. I just decided to integrate all the Uzbek people, especially the ones on LinkedIn, because they seemed very cooperative and like very what do you call friendly. They reach out to you, they ask for advice and stuff, and I thought maybe we could just make a representative page for everyone. That we could speak on behalf of the people. We can represent them, and the page we opened was seen by a lot of people, and some guys like even in this executive group reached out to me. Like we were already friends with Shakla, Big Zot, and Sardar, and Shakhdad as well. And I just saw there how active they were, how professional they looked, how responsible they were in their lives. And I'm like, why don't we just build a team and start doing some projects together? And Sardar voluntarily reached out to me. We lived together with Sardar actually as roommates as well. That's how our friendship became so strong. And then Shakhdad also reached out to me, like, hey, that's a wonderful idea. Let's do it together. So as I said in the past, I don't take all the credits to me. That's everything we're doing is a teamwork, and everybody has, especially these two wonderful girls, has a lot of contributions. Sardar is very active. Exotic is very active. He represents our European diaspora communities, and yeah, if you guys have any additions, go ahead.
Yeah, great. Thanks for bringing that up. I think that even before we created this group, we all had on our mind that we wanted to do something. We wanted to create one kind of a sphere where all of us can go together, share ideas, share opportunities, any job opportunities that we have, right? Like we wanted to create like one page where every Uzbek can go and feel free to share any ideas that they want. And I think that our main mission was to definitely like not just unite people in the United States, but also in different countries, right? Because at the end of the day, we are all here trying to be successful, and I think that our main mission was that. And I think that in such a short time, we accomplished that. We were able to connect with a lot of people, interview them, and to learn from them. And even to this day, we get a lot of things notes from people saying what are the things that we're doing, and we're just so excited. And yeah, I'm just so happy to be part of it.
Yeah, definitely. I can share a lot of what I felt the same way as Shakla did. Like when I first, when I first saw the LinkedIn page, it literally just had one picture. I remember people coming off of an Uzbek Airlines flight, like an airplane, Uzbek Hawaiian airplane. Anyways, I was like, okay, I'm not sure what this is, but this sounds like something I've been wanting to do for a long time now, which was like starting a group. I was never sure of what it would be about. I was just, I just had the rough idea in my head where we would start a group to help Uzbek people, right? Especially when for example, when I first moved to the US, I remember I didn't know anything, right? I didn't have any Uzbek friends because I lived in Connecticut. So, if you live in New York, maybe you don't see, it's not that bad for you because there's a lot of Uzbek and Russians. But as someone who was in a different state, I just wish there was something like this, what we have now, for really, for me to get to know better how school works in the US, how in general, how to become successful and things like that. So that was the purpose in my head. Whenever I saw that somebody started an organization, I remember just leaving a comment and saying, hey, if there's anything I can help with, I would be more than willing. And then I found out that, this was very new, even for Hasan and Sardar. They started it with a good intention, but didn't really exactly know where to go from there. So then as a group, we came together and started coming up with new ideas on how we can help people, how we can bring value. And every single day, we're always, improving and thinking of new ideas. So this is exactly why we wanted to have this session, because if you guys have something specific that in mind that you think we could help with, we have a good audience on our social media. We all have good amount of knowledge in terms of college in the US, work. So if you have any ideas or suggestions, feel free to leave them here. We'll definitely take everything into consideration, and we're here to serve you. So definitely let us know what you would like to see.
Yeah.
Anyone wants to add?
Yeah, I totally, support this idea, what you mentioned. And I think we can touch on a little bit about our future plans and how we decided to actually position ourselves as an organization, because these past few months, we've been really focusing on content a lot. And we brought already 3 wonderful speakers, all of which, got really, a lot of views on different social medias. And people have been, appreciating that. So, but a lot of you guys have been reaching out to us asking how we can join Uzbek diaspora. How can we join? And this question hasn't meant that much to us. We're like, what do you mean join, right? Because before, we were a group, and you could really just join by requesting, to join the group, on Facebook or on LinkedIn. But now that we're actually an organization, how do you join an organization? There was no way to join, right? So we're planning to actually roll out this new feature on our new website, where you're going to be able to register by applying to actually become a part of official member of Uzbek diaspora. So anybody who is living abroad can pretty much apply, right? And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be creating a lot of unique content for our members that is not going to be public anymore. So, take advantage of some public content for now while it's available, while supplies last, right? But no, aside from that, all of the speakers that we're bringing, essentially, we're building relationships with them, right? And they're experts in their fields. So we're also, take care of, your questions that you have for those experts. For example, let's take one of our speakers, Fakina Pulatova, right? Who's an expert in product management. And somebody might have a question for her, but not have a direct way of reaching out to her, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to be allowing our members to get access to that expert through us, because both of you guys are going to be associated with the same organization, which is UD, and the way you're going to be reaching out is going to become easier, right? That's another perk. And why don't you guys tell about all the more different perks that we were discussing yesterday?
Yeah, so this is definitely a fresh idea in our mind, and we're working every single day to have this this form be ready for next year. We want to launch it in the beginning of next year. So we're trying to make it as good as possible, meaning we want to have information about organizations, so what you're joining, right? And I do want to highlight that this is you don't have to pay for a membership, but there is some criteria that we're going to take into consideration when adding people. So that's the whole purpose of it, right? And then once you become a member, as Sardar mentioned, there's going to be different perks. We're still in the working process. We're still working on what kind of perks we can offer you guys. But, we just thought a lot of people are reaching out to us saying, hey, how can I join? How can I become a part of this organization and, learn from you or contribute? And we were like, just by following us, that didn't sound right. It just didn't make sense. Everyone can follow and they might just not be actively involved. So we thought, hey, why don't we give opportunity to the people to, actually join us and actually feel like they're part of the organization. And we in return give them something that, that separate them from just rest of the people that just basically follow us on social media. So as I said, we're still working on it. We're improving the process every day, but that's about it. And we see a lot of questions coming in. Thank you so much for being so active. So we can start going through the questions
right away. Yeah.
Right. Yep.
I have one question from Instagram that I can start with.
Yeah.
So Norav S. Bobabek is asking, what makes this organization unique from other Uzbek organizations, if there is one out there? Who wants to take this question?
Let me take that one. The second part, I love it. If there is one out there. I don't know if there is one out there. So I remember when we first started, we actually did our research where we were looking to see if there were pages like this. And there was one on Facebook with, we actually then looked into the history of it. One of our speakers, Babar Akilhanov, ended up being like someone that was part of the group. So basically a group very similar to this one started like back few years ago, but unfortunately when they had a lot of audience, a lot of followers, they actually kind of just stopped the organization. They didn't take it on, so it doesn't exist any longer. So then we decided, hey, why don't we start something? So there is a lot of groups that basically have open discussion, like if you know on Facebook there is Uzbeks and USA groups, a bunch of groups like that just kind of encourage open discussion, but for the most part, they don't have like a structured way of doing things. Like they don't have interviews like we do, or they don't plan different events. So ours is totally based on professional development. So it's not as much about coming to the US, like the documentation process, but it's more about like once you're here, how can we help you? How can we help our own Uzbeks become successful in this country where, it's hard. I know like Hassan mentioned it, and it was like initially mentioned by our speaker, Shahina, that as an immigrant, you have to work twice as hard. And that's because when you first come, all of this is new to you, right? We weren't born here. We didn't grow up hearing about college. We didn't grow up hearing about applying to scholarships or paying bills. So all these things are new to us as immigrants. So that's why we thought that we would start an organization, and we had some goals in mind, but not very clear yet, because we wanted to leave it open to see what our audience wants, right? We wanted to have sessions like this one to see what would be the most beneficial for you guys, and then we will create our future goals based on that. So I think it's not that we even differentiate from other groups. I just don't even think a group like us honestly exists.
Right. Yeah. And yeah, to add to that, what's also unique is that there's a lot of different groups, like Shahadat mentioned. There's Uzbeks in USA, there's Uzbeks in Canada, Uzbeks in Europe, Uzbeks in Britain, or even like micro groups where Uzbeks in Miami, Uzbeks in New York, right, or other diasporas. But there hasn't been one that has been global, and there hasn't been, at least not the one that has still exists, right? So with us, we're trying to take this into a global scale and make this one of the actually often questions that we get on all of our interviews is, why are you guys not speaking Uzbek, right? I think that's another unique thing about us, is that this organization, although it's called Uzbek Diaspora, this isn't just for Uzbeks. This is for Uzbekistanians. And a lot of people have been a little bit confused about what Uzbekistanian means. And I want to just add a term. I feel like a lot of people know, but some people are missing that information. When you say Uzbek, you mean a nationality, right? And Uzbekistan is, thank God, a very multinational country. Especially, from Soviet Union, we had a lot of different nationalities, and we still do across the world. So we want, this organization be joined by a lot of different Uzbekistanians. Those can be Russians, those can be Jews, those can be Koreans, anybody essentially who has been associated with with Uzbekistan, or their parents have been even living there at some point, right? We had this story where this guy from Saudi Arabia, I think, he reached out to us, and apparently he's Uzbek, but he has been almost losing his identity with Uzbekistan, or Uzbek identity, because he's lived for generations in Saudi Arabia, and he's been wanting to join some kind of Uzbek groups, but there has been none. And we don't want to position this, people are saying, why are you guys not speaking Uzbek? Well, not everybody speaks Uzbek who's from Uzbekistan, even inside Uzbekistan. And we feel like English is this universal language for all Uzbekistanians living abroad. at least most of them do speak English, and this is going to unite us. This is one of our values, to unite people, and this is why we chose English. And even with these diaspora groups that are local, like Uzbeks in the United States, Uzbeks in Miami, whatever, none of them are specifically in English. They're all in Uzbek language. And I feel like that is discriminating against a lot of Uzbekistanians who do not speak Uzbek. And I know a lot of, for example, Russians and Koreans who moved here to the United States, even from Uzbekistan. But how are they able to join these Uzbek groups if nobody's speaking their language there? Everybody's speaking Uzbek. I understand this is important to protect the Uzbek language, but this is one of the reasons why we chose English and what's distinguishing us from other organizations. I feel like this is one of the biggest ones.
I just want to make an addition to what Sardar and Shahadat said. One of the main reasons that we decided to make it in English, not in Uzbek or Russian, or other common languages, right, is because, all the countries are going through the process of globalization, and the markets are getting integrated, the political arenas are getting integrated, and the world is becoming more like one entity, and everybody needs English. Even in Uzbekistan, if you take it from the elementary school to the high school level, everybody learns English at some level, right? The reason being is that English is becoming the language of the world, right? And we have to be able to communicate and bring up our concerns and conversations to the wider audience, not only Uzbek audience, right, but a wider audience. And we want to be heard by the global arena out there, And it's also a good way to educate other Uzbek people, to motivate them to speak English, to integrate to the world. That's I think a good explanation for us choosing English as our main language.
Let me make an addition also. Like the platform we are highly present is also LinkedIn, and the Uzbeks which are in LinkedIn, I think they pretty much all of them speak English, and that's also one of the reasons.
Yep. So I know there's a lot of questions on Instagram. We have a few here from YouTube and Facebook. So Sardar, you can let us know the questions on Instagram. Let's just take turns. One from StreamYard, one from Instagram.
Yeah,
so sure. I see there is a question from Akbar Muminov. I will put it up on the screen. Where do you see the group going in the future? So anybody would like to take this one? I know we touched on it a bit, but maybe say a few more words.
I just want to say one thing, right? So I didn't start by myself, or Sardar didn't start by himself, or Shahadat didn't start by himself, right? We start as a group, and we don't represent our ambitions, right? We represent the ambitions of everyone, not only ambitions, but interests and concerns everyone who's from Uzbekistan, right? And that's why our future not only depends on us, but on you guys, on the audience as well. What our main concerns are, where we want to head out to together, and what kind of shared common values we have together. What really integrates us, what really brings us together.
Let me add also, like for example, Uzbek diaspora is an agile organization. So we, of course, our main mission is connecting, networking with Uzbek people and growing with them and contributing for their growth. But how we are going to do it, the mechanisms can be different time by time. And we are kind of, we are thinking about it, and we are planning it day by day. So it can change from today to tomorrow.
Yeah, I think that's such a great point that both Hassan and Bek made. I think we we obviously have a structured plan and we have a route that we want to take, but then, the stops are based on what you guys want. We have a plan, but we don't solidify it, because when you solidify something, it's hard to change. But we want to make sure we change, our initiatives, our projects based on what the demand is from you guys. As I said, we're, an organization that is serving you, and that's our whole purpose. So definitely, the future is kind of like, depends on you guys. So, and to that point, that's why we wanted to have these Q&As, to get to know you guys, what you want to see. And in addition to that, we are also planning to do weekly Q&A sessions on our social media. So, we could generate different questions based on what we want from you, what we want to know about you, and what you're thinking about the organization. It could be, maybe about our events, how we like our events, or it could be something like, what kind of events do you want us to have? So we want to start having these Q&A sessions on our social medias on a weekly basis to really encourage input from you guys as well. So that I hopefully answers your question, Akbar. Let's move on to our next question. If you want to bring anything up, Sardar, from Instagram. If not, we can go through the questions here as well.
You're muted, Sardar.
Okay, no questions.
Sorry, I think I was muted. Yeah, I was saying there's no question from Instagram. Go ahead and pull up your.
All right, so I just want to say that somebody said it's amazing, young initiatives. Thank you, Mukarram Khan. Then we have this question from Siraj, and let me just pull it up. Is this group going to exist only online, or you're planning to organize offline events in the future too? Just before we answer this question, I feel like since Siraj is asking a question, let's introduce Siraj and talk a little bit about our advisory board, maybe.
Yeah.
Do that.
Good idea.
Yeah, Shako, you want to take this one?
Yeah, sure. A little bit about Siraj is part of our advisory board, and a little bit about what is advisory board is that we created advisory board to bring more people to the group to share their ideas on the group. And we always wanted, like Shahad said earlier, we always wanted to know your voice, what you really want, and for that reason, we really brought some professional people to the group to ask ideas on what kind of events that we should held on, right? What kind of opportunities that we should take care of so that it can better the future and it can better the people that they want from UD. And going back to the question of Siraj, I think that as we all know, COVID really did had an effect on many businesses and sales bars. And for that reason, we only kept the event online. And in the future, we definitely are planning to do it offline events. We want to create different opportunities so that we can get to know you better and in live. And also, we want to do a lot of conferences that can help students and professionals in the United States or future in the globe.
Yeah, I just want to add to this as well. So, like, we recently co-founded this new organization called Care Kitchen, which is, we had our first offline event yesterday, and just want to quickly tell about this. I think it's a good cause, nothing commercial. It's a charity event dinner that we're hosting every month in Miami, and we're going to be bringing Uzbek or different people together for this charity event to raise money for the elderly and children in need in Uzbekistan, right? And just yesterday, on our first offline event, we had 13 people attend. Offline event, we cooked plow. It was a great gathering, and then we also raised $2,500. $2,500. That's a lot of money that can make a huge difference in Uzbekistan, right? And this isn't part of UD, but we are planning to integrate this type of event in the UD as well, in different countries, in different cities. We're starting to follow this process right now. This is one type of event that we're organizing, that we're planning to organize in the UD. And yes, once the COVID situation gets better, hopefully, we're going to be organizing more offline events, because face-to-face is definitely a different experience.
Yeah, our main mission is not just to give you a better future or better opportunities, but also give back to the community.
Give back, yes.
Really do want to do that, because I think that it really is important to everyone, and we really are planning on doing more stuff. And it just happened in Miami, and in the future it might happen in New York as well, and we're so excited for that. So yeah.
To that point, I think this was actually from the beginning in our mind that we want to, at some point, once we grow, once we have good Uzbek diaspora, good amount of Uzbek diaspora members, we definitely wanted to have an event in person as well. And, we've already brainstormed on a few ideas on, our members are from all over the world. So we want to make sure to have meetings in as many locations as possible, so as many members can attend. And, potentially we have the idea of maybe selecting, country managers, perhaps, that will kind of be responsible for organizing these events in other countries where we might not be present. So, as we go, as our ambitions grow, our projects, increase, we have more projects in mind. We want to start, bringing in kind of more people, more help, and really grow and become known maybe all around the world. Who knows?
Exactly. This is the perk of being global. Like, this is why we're global. This is how we're different. We're going to be opening up chapters in Germany, in Switzerland, in Canada, in all these countries all around the world, because we have Uzbekistanians all around the world. So,
yeah, for sure.
All right. There was one quick question from Instagram that said, "Are you guys going to be adding only distinguished people to the organization?" Which a quick answer: no. We're going to be adding pretty much anybody who lives abroad.
Yeah.
Concise. Yeah.
And that's the whole point, right? That we're going to have such a big variety of people from variety of career, journeys, like from the different, like there's, maybe students, there's people that are well distinguished in their careers. And the whole point is, to bring these people together to connect and network and contribute by helping each other. So that's the whole point, that we have different people. And, obviously these are all potential ideas. As you can see, we have a lot of ideas, and we're going slowly one by one. One of our potential ideas that one of our advisory board members actually has suggested is perhaps doing like a mentorship program, right, in the future, where we could maybe pair up our Uzbek diaspora members. And once we have actual members, it'll be easier to do. We'll know who's in, and we could pair them up with someone that is in the field that they're interested in, but they're a little more ahead, so that they can help each other, and learn from each other. Those are potential ideas, but definitely anyone abroad, any Uzbekistani abroad.
Exactly. And just to quickly add to that, my example, I have a mentor who I met, through a common friend who was in Russia, right? And it happened like, a person who's in my city living in New York became my mentor by somebody connecting us from Russia, right? And that only happened because we happened to know a common person. But like, there was no platform, for back then, and still isn't, to find mentors. And we're going to be helping you guys find different mentors. Let's say Ulbek in Canada wants to go into filming industry, and there's like Rafshan, who's very well known in the filming industry in Canada. We can match them. And create that common value. That's one of the things that we will do. And hopefully we're going to be doing a lot of more initiatives like that.
Yeah. All right. We have another great question. Let's move on. Really like this one. So, great idea about becoming a member of Uzbek diaspora. Do you have any age limitation? My daughter is in high school, and she's a leader who represents Uzbek culture in her school. She created and worked on her club and festival.
That's amazing. I think that, let me just do a little touch up on that. It's really great. While I was in Uzbekistan, I was part of a lot of groups like that too, and clubs and festivals. I was always on it, and that's great for your daughter. And for us, we do not have any age limit. Anyone is welcome to us. We are, as you can see, very diverse, and in any culture that we have, it doesn't matter a man or female. We are welcoming, and so yeah, feel free to reach out to us via email or follow us and keep updated by us. Yeah,
I think once we for now, you can follow us on different social medias. If you want to reach out, there's email team@uzbekdiaspora.com. But Q1 2020, we're going to be launching the website where you can join as a member, and your daughter can definitely join.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's always great to know, right? That we have such young, ambitious Uzbek girls that are, in a few years, maybe, they'll join our the organization now, and in a few years we'll see them become so big, and they'll be contributing, right? That's the whole point. They will connect to us. They will network with people in our organization. In the future, they will come back as these people that can actually contribute to our organization. And that's how exactly we plan to grow. And, our growth is never going to stop because all these members are improving and coming back to contribute. So
yes,
that is awesome. So
yeah, I just want to make an addition. Since she's such an impressive girl who's very active in her high school, would love you to share her activities, whatever she's done with us, and we can provide our emails and stuff. You can send out all the materials, and we would love to share it with our audience.
That's a good point.
Feature her perhaps on our social media as well. If she's a distinguished leader, being young. We're always welcome to new ideas.
Yeah, that could be a great new initiative, actually, right? Like featuring our very own Uzbekistanis that are doing great things abroad. That would be great.
Yeah.
So just a comment from Nilufar Salimova. Thank you for mentioning that. That's such a good point about the language and connecting our people worldwide. So you said great job.
Thank you.
There's a little bit of divide on my side, Instagram saying you should speak Uzbek, and
I think that's always going to be the case. I feel like that's one of the things that's not going to change, right? And that's okay. It's hard to, even if we picked Uzbek, I think again we might be wrong for that as well. So think of it this way: we're doing English, so if you don't speak English, it's great. It's a great way for you to learn. You could practice, you could hear English. So perhaps in a few years of being part of our organization, as someone that only speaks Uzbek, you'll start talking English. Who knows?
Yeah, and I just want to make an addition again. So, we should think long term, right? What's the long term for the world? It's gonna be English, right? Like even if you live in Uzbekistan, you know that most of the new corporations, especially IT companies, require you to speak English, right? And when you join us, you get a good practice at least, And that's why we encourage everyone to learn English, even when they're in Uzbekistan. We want them to learn English as well, That's the way to share your thoughts and ideas with the rest of the world, not only with the community.
Yeah.
Win-win.
Yeah, and it's not just about the opportunities, but also about the future jobs that you want to get, right? If your dream is to work in this company or get this job, right, or come to this country, you definitely should know English. If it's very crucial nowadays to know and learn English, and it's used everywhere. So if you are planning and if your dream is to come to this country, or if you want to get this job, or if you want to study in this university, it's always good to start early. And definitely start now. So we are thinking of what is best for you.
Yeah, definitely. I see Sardar had a question on Instagram that you answered. Do we want to touch on why we chose diaspora as the name?
I think that this quick question was there. For those who might not know, there's been some confusion again because people, a lot of the times they hear this word like Jewish diaspora or Russian diaspora, whatnot. A lot of people even commented saying, why do you guys choose diaspora? Isn't it for Jewish people? Like, that is wrong. I think that's a very basic thing that you can Google, because diaspora just means any nationality, any nationality, group of people living abroad that are coming from the same country but are living in a different country or city, right? So let's say in we call it in New York, we say, hey, there's a huge Uzbek diaspora in New York. What does it mean? It doesn't mean nothing with other nationalities. It can be like, it's just Uzbeks. That's why we chose the name, because we're uniting different diasporas in different countries and cities that are from Uzbekistan. And again, we're not exclusively making it for Uzbeks. This is for Uzbekistanians. This is why it's diaspora. Like, Korean people from Uzbekistan are also part of our diaspora.
Yeah, definitely. So then we have a quick question from Dildar Rahmanova about how we can join your meetings. So, we have meetings like this to get to know more about your ideas and what you might want to see in an organization. And then, as we mentioned earlier, do have an advisory board as well. Let me just say a few more words about that. This is, as we said, we want to know what our audience, our members want. So we created this small group on the side of individuals who are able to give us some advice, perhaps recommendations from the outside perspective. And we work very closely with our advisory board. So, if you're someone that's very, very interested and is willing to contribute and really actively engage with the organization, then, you could reach out to us and we could potentially consider, adding you to our board. So that's one thing. And let's move on to the next question. So we have a good question from Asad Haydarov. First of all, thanks for creating such a good platform. You're welcome. Question: do you guys only invite Uzbek guests?
I think that goes back to Uzbekistanians.
That's a good point. Right, that's exactly why we think it's so important, again, to speak English, because some of our speakers, in fact, didn't even, speak Uzbek because they're not Uzbek, like we could invite people potentially from Uzbekistan that might be Russian. So, again, we want to encourage, at least to start off, we want to invite Uzbekistanians, because I think they serve a great example to our Uzbeks, and they can give great advice because they went through what we went through, right? In terms of going to a different country, exploring its diaspora and going through all these experiences that everyone goes through when they just move. But, potentially, based on, again, what the demand is, we could maybe start inviting speakers that could just bring value that aren't Uzbekistani necessary, but they bring great value. Maybe they have an organization that they're recruiting for, and we could potentially offer our own Uzbeks, to like kind of get jobs there. Just potential ideas. But for now, we're focused. Yeah.
Exactly. One example of that real quick was that, remember Hassan, this British guy from Britain reached out to Hassan because he saw Uzbek diaspora and said, hey, I am one of the people involved with the British fund that is sponsoring different initiatives and different startups in Central Asia. And he said, I want to speak on your platform. I want to inform people about our initiative. You see how great that is? This is one of the biggest initiatives right now in Uzbekistan. They're trying to pull foreign investments. And here we got a foreign investor that said, I want to tell Uzbekistanians that I am investing in Uzbek startups. And he's not Uzbekistanian, he's British. But we could bring him, to speak as well, because he's, he wants to talk about Uzbek community. He's interested in Uzbek community. So, yeah, people like that.
Yep, definitely. I think that's such a good point. All right. So, any questions on your end, Sardar, or any comments that we could bring up for discussion?
I think, quickly, I wanted to touch on what you said about, people coming in and not having all the knowledge and struggling in the new country, because somebody just mentioned, can you give a quick advice on somebody who's settling down in a new country? You mentioned about, people like us or somebody else who's been living abroad for quite some time and have adjusted already and have all this resources and knowledge that we did not have when we came, right? And I want to just quickly tell my story of when I came. I lived in Massachusetts in a dorm in a high school. There was nobody from Uzbekistan in that. Probably in the whole state, there was only a few people. In my city, tiny city with 2,000 people, there was definitely nobody from Uzbekistan, right? And I struggled, and I didn't know a lot of things. I didn't know basics of like that in the United States, you have to open a credit card as soon as you come, because like the sooner you open that, the better. Or that you have to, start working on your credit score, or you have to, do so many basic things that are so easy for me right now. It's ABC. And when people come to this country, I tell them right away, open a credit card. I tell them right away, do this and that, right? So many things that I didn't know myself until, I lived 2 years, here. And this is the type of resource we want to become as well, that people should at least know the basics. And what if you have a more specific request, like you want to go into the finance sphere and like, for example, Shahlo and Shahodat are both in the financial sphere. They could be a great resource for somebody who wants to break into the finance industry. And because they've worked a lot on their resumes, they've gained a lot of knowledge and it's all about giving back and sharing that information and knowledge.
Yeah, I think, to that point, we're having interview series right now, and they're going really well. We see that you guys are very engaged. Hopefully, you're gaining a lot of information and knowledge from these. And in the future, we do plan to have, if you're interested, we do plan to have different other webinars. Maybe on resume building, perhaps on networking, basically anything and everything that would help your professional development. So, if you're interested in that, definitely let us know. We're going again step by step, right? Baby steps. We want to make sure quality over quantity is first, but we do plan to have, a big amount of different projects, not just interview series.
Yes, I think that adding on to what hold on a second. Adding on to what Sardar has said, it's great that your past has taught you a lot. But yeah, I think that we have a lot of plans for the future.
Okay.
So someone, just a comment, said, yes, the Care Kitchen project was truly meaningful. Hope to see the project in other states and countries at Nilufar Salimova. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to say a separate thank you to Nilufar, who's been kind enough to share a lot on her Instagram about us, and donated, I think, and promoted donating, and everybody who donated. Thank you. It's gonna mean a lot.
Definitely, yeah. I think as Sardar and a few of my Raihana, our friends started this project, I was with them when they were brainstorming an idea. So many people became so passionate about this. They were like, wow, where were we? This is great. I feel like, especially as Uzbeks, we always want to help people in our country, but we just don't know how exactly. Nowadays it's hard to know how to help, who to give the money to so it goes to the right place. So, I was so happy that my own friends started this. So now I could actually, promote this because I know them and I know who they're going to be helping. So, that's why I think we saw a lot of support from so many different people. And that's exactly why we were thinking of maybe hopefully bringing it to New York, making it part of our Uzbek diaspora initiative, perhaps, if it continues to go well the way it did the first time that we had it.
Yeah, definitely. Just adding on to that, thank you so much, Nilufar, for being so active. I actually know her and her brother, and they're very active as well. And they have also helped with COVID. They did funding from Uzbeks in here, and they helped people in Uzbekistan to get back for the COVID, especially when it was very bad, to help them. They did such a great job by contributing to the Uzbekistan, by giving them hand sanitizer to any schools, right? And thank you so much for being like that. We really do appreciate citizens like that who are so like to give back, and thank you so much for doing that.
All right.
I just want to make an addition to what you guys said. There's a prejudice in our Uzbek. It's more like a negative prejudice in our Uzbek mentality, probably, that Uzbeks cannot integrate. Oh, Uzbeks cannot help each other. Oh, Uzbeks cannot support each other. Instead of blaming each other, we should just help each other. We should be the role model. We don't have to look for role models. We gotta really be the role model and help each other. And that's what this Sardar and Raihan have started. Is an amazing example. We live in some of the most developed countries in the world, and we, of course, the level of income and the level of living here is much higher, and sometimes we take it for granted. Like $1, $10 for us might be like a bill for us, right? Or something. We may use it for Spotify or something else. But if we forward it to helping people who are starving, who are in need, who don't have jobs, who are having a lot of hard time in Uzbekistan, those are our compatriots. Those are the people we belong to. That's the community we belong to initially, right? And helping them is a duty as a citizen, right? A country is not a what do you call a group of people. It's not a group of individuals. It's a community. Community means shared values and shared responsibility. And we here, if there's one calling of our organization of Uzbek diaspora, it's, hey, let's work together, let's collaborate, let's help each other who are in need, and I'm sure that we're going to be integrating a lot of these amazing projects like kitchen care and others into our future agendas. And hopefully everyone will be happy and everyone will be happy to help us as well.
For sure. Yeah, thank you for adding that, Hassan. Shakhoda, do you have more questions? There's I think Bob Khalil, he's saying I can hear. We can definitely respond in I think in the text format.
Yep, I was doing that. I think to that point, I actually know him for a long time. I don't personally know him, but I remember when he reached out to me like years ago before he came to the US, and he's actually doing great now. I remember seeing him part of some project that he's in. Basically, his English is, as you can see, pretty good. So yeah, I think we should in the future definitely think of ways that we can maybe create subtitles, not only for people, like people that maybe cannot hear or have difficulties hearing or whatever it might be, but also for people that don't know English. Again, seeing subtitles might be so great for them, not only to understand, but to learn English in the process with that. So that way we're hitting on more like targets and helping more people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yes, we do have another question from Asad Haydarov. What should we wait from Uzbek diaspora in 2021? Talking about that, I mean, do you guys, I have our blueprint to share. I mean, we could just go through it verbally, or I could share my screen.
We can do verbally, because like sharing right now would be too much.
Yeah, exactly. So as we touched on it earlier, we obviously want to rely a lot on your feedback before we kind of, take on new things. We want to see what interests you the most, but, we definitely have plenty of ideas. So let me actually go through some of them. As you guys already know, so far we have launched our interview series. We already had 3 speakers thus far, working on getting our 4th one. So we see a lot of engagement as we're kind of seeing that the numbers are going up, engagement level is going up by every interview series that we having those for sure. And then we want to have, as I mentioned earlier, weekly Uzbek diaspora Q&A. We get to hear what you want, and we also want to have these sessions, open Q&A sessions with the Uzbek diaspora executive board, right? To get, again, to hear what you guys are interested in, to answer any questions that you have. Some of the potential ideas are also, I mentioned earlier, resume building sessions, personal branding sessions. Perhaps we could do a session on growing your network, right? We could have our mentorship program. So we could also, start planning our physical Uzbek diaspora event gathering. So there's so many ideas. We just want to make sure we go step by step. We're really, really, honestly, so ambitious about this organization. And we see so much support from you guys that it just motivates us to go even bigger. And so far, everything has been going as planned. We're on track. So happy with the progress. So continue to be with us, support us, and we will do our best to serve you and support you as well. That was a speech.
Yeah, definitely. Adding into that, like we said, we are planning to do on the project where we will share our own experiences. Where, like I said, our IT sector is very good at IT, and he can create or do a webinar on IT and how to be successful in IT. And like Shafat, she's very good at finance and have had a very good experience on finance. So she can also have a webinar on finance and how to get into finance field, right? Like what are the ups and downs? What is the good thing to do? What to have in your resume, right? Which are some of the most important things, right now. I think that some of the best topics right now that many people who are doing is IT, finance, and product management. And so we are planning to have those people in those fields so that they can teach you to become better or to get the field that you're interested in. So that's one of the things that we are planning to do for 2021, and we are so excited.
And yeah, to add to that, in 2021, if we just summarize it, we've been kind of all over the place on Facebook, LinkedIn. It's great for distribution. We're still going to keep doing that, but we want to unite this all into our own single platform, perhaps even launch an application, mobile application, or at least a web portal where we will have, people join that portal and have, again, just to repeat for those who joined, there's 3 main perks of joining our web portal that's coming up. First of all, it's exclusive content exclusive access to exclusive content. It's OnlyFans type of thing, but for Uzbek diaspora, for good content. And then second point is that we're going to have these mentors, access to expert mentors. That is going to be unique from our speakers. And third would be, just again, the mutual exclusive discussions, that you're going to have like a forum type of thing. It's a small social media. I have this experience, from being a part of a few different exclusive groups where, it's sort of a small social media. And that's kind of what we want to bring. We want to create like a virtual village, a united virtual village from people who are living abroad in that web portal. That's in short. Yeah.
All right. So we're getting a lot of great comments. Somebody saying, "Well said, Hassan Bey. Thank you, Shahla. Really appreciate it. I hope to contribute more and be as active as I can," said Nilufar. So you guys are so nice, and really we feel like we're thank you. Like honestly, thank you so much for all your kind words and support. This is exactly what motivates us to do more, guys. So again, we have another similar question, which we already answered, about guys, any upcoming entertainments from your side in 2021. I think we've been, touching on that as we go. But, as a board, we plan to sit down before the year end and make a solid plan on where we want to go. As I said, we have a lot of ideas, but perhaps we could brainstorm on which ones to bring forward first. So we'll make sure to do Q&As on our social media to see where your interests lie as well. Yep. Any questions on Instagram, Sardar?
No, I think Holobek is saying about subtitles. If you guys could respond in the text saying, yes, we're adding subtitles soon, because, we said it verbally. Again, we didn't write it that we're going to be adding subtitles. Could you guys?
Yeah, I think I did earlier.
You did? Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah,
yes,
I mean,
that'd be great if the team could add EC.
Yeah, there's no more question. Just one more time, whoever's watching, this is an open Q&A session. If you want to ask us about, just to touch on different people's expertise, you could ask me about business or IT. You could ask Shahodat about financial field and building resume and breaking into different internships. You could ask Hassan about about economics and about his experience moving into the United States and getting into different colleges. And right now he's actually breaking into his career as an economist or a financial expert, right, as well. And you could ask Big Zod about, living in Germany and building his career. And he's also studying right now as well, studying and working at the same time. That's also a great experience. And you could ask Shahla about personal branding on LinkedIn, or you could ask about, again, building your resume or her expertise. So anything. We're accepting any questions. I feel like we're going to be, staying here for a few more minutes, right? Because it's been
we're on top of the hour. Yep, a few more minutes. So definitely questions. It could be ideas. It could be recommendations. Anything you guys have so far. You've been so active and you've been so open with us. We really appreciate all the ideas coming in. I feel like just by having this meeting, not only did you benefit, did you learn more about us, but we learned more about where we should go next. So thank you so much for all that great feedback.
Yep.
So anyone has anything personally you guys have in mind that you think would be great to share with the audience?
Yeah, I'd just like to add one more thing. As you guys can see, the conversation is very much organic and spontaneous in a way, right? And our the way we implement our ideas and project is also a little more like spontaneous, but in an organized way. And I would like everyone to look at the organization not as a separate organization themselves, but as a place where they can express their ideas, and if they have some projects in mind, you can share it with us, and we'll welcome any ideas. And that's a place for everyone, and everyone can be able to express themselves, express their ideas, And we don't represent us, we're us as a group, right? But we represent Uzbek diaspora living abroad.
Exactly.
All right.
Yes, and we are gonna have these events like this kind of office hours, like very often. So
Yep. And I mean, we have a question from John Tashmatov. Maybe you could address it a little, Sardar, to an extent that you can. He says, "Hello, everyone. What should I do to become an IT specialist?" So, I mean, that's a very broad question.
It's an interesting question from John because I know him personally, and it's a question that
he's a specialist.
It's a question that I could ask him. So,
Okay.
but I know probably why he asked this question, because he wants others to know about this. By the way, we could bring Jonica. It's an official invitation. We could bring you as one of our speakers in the near future. And,
yes,
and he'll answer his own question.
Yeah, and so you can answer this question exactly. But to take this question, being in the IT, I think I recently posted about this as well when Shahla was asking me about this on her webinar. Essentially, start by taking different courses. There's all types of Jonica, by the way, he has great courses that he teaches. It's called myiteducation.us, I believe. And his students have been successful in breaking into IT industry. Or there's different academies. If you're in Uzbekistan, we have a Bobabek Ilhanov Tech Academy. A little bit of ads here, but it's an offline and online available. If you want to go in person or if you want to go online, there's a lot of different schools right now. Take those courses and then also find either a mentor who's in the IT industry, or go and take any kind of job on Upwork or Fiverr for like cheap or free, just to get experience. There's no way you can keep learning programming and just stay in the theory. You need to have hands-on project, actual experience in the project. So that's how you can, I guess, become an IT specialist in some sort. It's all about experience,
Yep. Thank you so much for that, Sardar. Nice to see you guys. And again, we have another question from Solana Sirajuddin. He is asking, thanks for your valuable information. Can you tell students who are in Uzbekistan now and are planning to apply to US, what do you recommend to get to target a goal? Can you share your cases? How did you go there as a student? So maybe one by one, we could all share about our experiences coming to the US or Germany in Begzat's case, and how what you think would make you more successful if you prepare beforehand.
Sure. Yes, why don't you start then?
You're muted, Shahla.
Oh, Shahla, yeah.
Did you say me or Shahla?
We can go from Shahla. You're muted. We cannot hear you.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I can go. So yeah, I know I have helped a lot of students who are in Uzbekistan to study in the United States. So a little bit what I can say is that definitely take SAT, ACT courses if you graduated from high school. Even when you're in Uzbekistan, it is very crucial for you to take the course, and from there you can actually apply to United States. I mean, the universities in the United States. It's very important that you get a very good grade. Doesn't matter if you take the IELTS, ACT, and ACT is very important, as and many universities in the United States require ACT and SAT. So it's very great that you really do study, and also IELTS is very important. So I think that as long as you actually really work really hard to in English or to ACT or ACT, you have more chances of getting a visa, student visa, and coming to the United States. And so I think that it really all depends on working hard, studying. I think that like none of us came here just by accident. We all worked very hard, and I came here with a green card with my family, but even then, I worked very hard to learn English, right? It's very crucial that you do learn, that you know things. And so if you really do want to succeed, I really do recommend for you to do great jobs at SAT, ACT, and IELTS. And yeah, you will have a great future.
For sure. Yeah, I want to add to this as well before I forget, because right now Bobobek brought up a really good point on the comments, saying a lot of universities are waiving ACT and SAT standardized tests. It's not relevant anymore. Doesn't mean that you can prepare. It's a good addition. It's a good addition to your application. But like, it's good that people, you know, on your university started thinking out of the box, because honestly, I hated these tests. Like, I prepared for them so much, and like, it was a nightmare thing. And it teaches you is not the knowledge itself, but like the test taking skills. That should be good at it, but which is, I guess it's important, but it's nothing that's going to actually put into your brain, you know. So yeah, but for me, the key has been like, I first of all, I got a scholarship to study in high school, which is a rare thing. How I got into the United States, but I did that through, you know, coming to the agents. There are a lot of agents in Uzbekistan that kind of like handle your applications for you. So I put my, you know, information there, and they sent out different applications to different schools. And this one happened to give me a, you know, a scholarship for a private boarding school, which was, I guess, a bit of luck, a bit of my own skills. But when I was applying to the university after that high school, what really has set me aside, and one of the best schools I got into, was University of California in Santa Cruz, and they gave me a huge scholarship to study robotics. And that was because my application stood out by me really highlighting my experience in the robotics. In high school, I created a robotics club, right? And then I started my personal statement revolving around my experience in the IT, right? And how I've been always into you know, studying IT and doing different clubs in this industry. So they gave me a huge scholarship for that. I think right now, that's a good point. These SAT and ACT tests will be a good addition, but they're not as critical as your personal statement and your experience in high school, of what kind of clubs you were involved in, how active you were in those. And of course, the grades also matter.
Yeah, I think I would love to add to that as well, because I felt the same way. You know, we mentioned earlier, for example, even now, I find myself rereading things more than I would if English was my first language. You know, like, I speak it well, I understand everything, but sometimes when I'm under pressure, especially SATs put you under a lot of pressure, this becomes valuable, your ability to process information you're reading as you read. And perhaps I don't think in English, I don't know what causes it, but I find myself rereading a lot when taking tests, which definitely, you know, doesn't really speak to how my potential or my knowledge at all, right? It's, again, as Sardar said, my test taking skills. So that's exactly why I believe it's so much better. It's so much better that colleges are focusing on students, you know, students being from like good, like what do you call it? From having like being very involved with activities, just having a well-rounded background is what I wanted to say, you know. And that's exactly why when I first came to the US, I actually came as a middle school student. I went to middle school for a year, and then less than a year actually, and then I went high school. So I had a good amount of time to really get to know what the US is about, what they value, how to get into colleges, and that's why I started getting involved in so many different groups. You know, I took on various leadership positions. It was all stressful at times, and I remember my friends would say, "Hey, like, why are you doing so much? Like, this is just like, why don't you just, you know, have fun? I feel like all you do is like related to school." And I was like, "Hey, just wait, you know, I want to do all of this now. So in the future, when you're working, you know, twice as hard, I can work less and, you know, kind of like still be in the same place, if not kind of ahead." So I just chose to focus on my school and my activities rather than just, you know, hanging out with my friends, where I know it's not like I didn't hang out with friends at all. I definitely did, but I focused on school, and, you know, it did pay off. I was able to, as a consequence of all these activities, I guess, that I was part of, you know, I received a lot of scholarships, and I ended up going to my school for free. Basically, I got a ride, and, you know, most of these scholarships I received, it wasn't just one scholarship; it was a bunch that I applied for, and most of them went around my activities. So, you know, because I was so well-rounded, I did so many clubs. That really, really helped me with scholarship. So even if you're in Uzbekistan preparing to come to the US, you could still be part of different organizations. Maybe you could, you know, like very closely be involved with us, and that could be something you could talk about. So, or put on your resume, right? You have to write a college essay. So anything like that you're involved in definitely like helps you stand out from the rest, you know, of the people that just have good grades, basically. So yeah.
That's so true. I remember Shahadat working very hard. Even when she was in high school, I used to know her, and I know she went to every event. She was the leader on everything. on any kind of event that happens in a day. She would always post about it, telling people to come, right? And she was the president on many events. And I know that how hard she worked, and I know that like if you do work hard like that, it really definitely pays off, and
Yeah.
people will see your, because it shows how you're kind of like being a leader. It shows that you being able to kind of take control and do things on your own. And so it really does matter. And so that even in Uzbekistan there might not be a lot of opportunities like that, but it's not hard for you to create one, right? Create one yourself, have your own organization, help the elderly, like we are doing, right? And so I think that it's very important. And going back to what Sardar said, I didn't know a lot of things about you, Sardar. Now I know. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
I'm not just a stupid college dropout. I was actually a nerd in high school and in
I'm
college.
like, wow, you did so much great
I had
things.
a 4.0 GPA in college, so don't.
Wow, like wow, I didn't know a lot of things about you.
Yeah.
Great.
To that point, if anyone is thinking, we're not like encouraging it, but Sardar actually is someone out of, many people that drop out of college who actually was able to become successful. And what I really like about Sardar is he doesn't just sit there and say, hey, just drop out, you'll be fine. He talks about advantages, disadvantages, things to take into consideration. So if you're someone that's debating or thinking about it for financial reasons, or you just can't do school anymore, I think you can, Sardar will be definitely open to, giving you advice. You reach out to him with that. I personally heard him give.
You need to go to school.
Yeah, and reach out to us if you want us to encourage you to go to school.
Want to stay in school, go to them. Want to drop out, come to me.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
but,
why don't you share your experience of coming to the US? I think it was a very interesting as well, how you got from Dubai to college in San Francisco.
Oh wow, yeah, I want to know that too, Hassan.
Let's get to know each other. Hassan, you're muted. Hassan, can you hear us?
Let's repeat your question, Sardar, one more time.
I'm sorry, I'm having connection issues. Can you say one more time?
Yeah. Why don't you share your experience
Sorry.
of how you came from Dubai to San Francisco to college?
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
From laughing, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah. I like how natural and organic it is. So, yeah, when I finished from high school, I was certain that I wasn't gonna stay in Uzbekistan because my initial purpose was to get an education degree at overseas, right? Because I already spoke English and I knew how high the level of education out there in the U.S. and Europe was, right? And I was not financially well off, and I had to take care of my tuition and future student life. And I thought that Dubai was a safe bet, like for a young person, right, who can communicate English, but without a degree. And that's what a lot of people nowadays are doing. They're going to Dubai. They're without any prior experience or qualification, and they're still able to find job in a good industry, which is tourism and mostly tourism, right? And I went there and I just worked there in sales in one of the biggest malls in the world, which is Dubai Mall. And it was a very intense work schedule when I was there. And it was a good experience. I learned how to discipline myself, how to, manage my time. And then I realized that maybe it was time to go to the States, maybe I could I could give it a try, and maybe I'll be lucky and get a visa to the States. And fortunately, I was the lucky one, and I got a visa, and I was so happy. That's one of my happiest days of my life because I was like, okay, I'm gonna go there, get my degree, and become an expert in my field. And like any other young person who's ambitious about his future. I was happy, and I came to San Francisco. I started my college at a community college called Parada Community College, and a lot of Uzbek young people applied for this school, and they were lucky they could get a visa there. And some of them have finished the school. Some of them weren't able to finish for many reasons. But you gotta stick to your goals, and you should never give up. You should keep working hard. A lot of challenges and hard times. You face a lot of team challenges and hard times, but at the end of the day, as long as you have an ambition, you get there. And I finished the school, and then I was like, I should move to a different place because I felt like I was in San Francisco for too long, and I decided to move to New York, which was my dream city, right? And now currently I'm in New York. I'm happy, and I'm 1 month away from graduation, and I'm happy. I'm already applying for a lot of jobs in my field, thinking of like doing some business projects and stuff. I'll be sharing about these things that I'm doing in the future. Yeah, that's my basic story, and feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions, if you're going through some problems. I'll be more than happy to in any way I can, you know.
Thank you, Hassan. Yeah, I think the question was more about your academic process of how you got into college, but that's okay. That was also very interesting to know about how you got from.
I'm sorry. Well, yeah, academic. Well, back then when I was in Dubai, I didn't have any qualifications, right? I got my IELTS back then. That's the only qualification I had. I didn't have anything else to support me as a student, right? And I applied with everything I had. I had some certificates from a education center. I went to in my hometown. I collected all the documents and sent out to the community college. What's good about community colleges are that you don't have to pay a lot of money, even as an international student. You can save a lot of money, you know, but education level is good enough, and you'll be able to transfer to any university, you know, and all the credits you take at a community college are transferable to any university, basically, as long as you follow their curriculum. And yeah, my advice would be like, if you don't have those high qualifications, go for a community college. That's a good option in many ways.
Yeah.
Could I answer the question?
I think that was. I think that was very explicit. Thank you. I think we can go to Big Zot now. Big Zot's journey is also very interesting for us. How he got into Germany, how you got into school, and how you started your career in Germany. I have no idea about anything about in Germany myself.
Yeah, actually, let me start with my high school. Like after graduating from academic lyceum in Uzbekistan, I was pretty much unsure if I'm going to go US, UK, or Germany. But I had a pretty solid English skills, but I didn't know German. It was like kind of, it was January 2013, no, 2012. So then I decided, I researched a little bit about German education system, how the universities are here, and how the bachelor and master programs are here, and I really liked them because same like Hassan's situation, I was not also able to pay higher education fees if I go to the United States or UK, and Germany at the same time providing this like almost the same quality of education system. Here you can study for free. So that's why but of course the entrance exam in Germany is very difficult, like and also the dropout quote is also very high, like 1/3 of university students will not have their degree at the end, 1/3, and this is even higher in the cases of technology, engineering, and mathematics. In these fields, like probably half of the students will not get the degree.
Right? You're in engineering, yes.
Yeah, I've graduated bachelor's in engineering, and I'm doing bachelor's in engineering too. Then like in Uzbekistan, I started learning German, and then like 1 year I was in Latvia. So at the beginning, I wasn't successful I wasn't successful at getting visa for Germany because like my German skills was not very good, and I wasn't admitted to university. but I didn't give up. I continued, like I moved to Latvia. I studied 1 year in my field, like engineering, and during that time I learned German. And I came to, like, when you are in Latvia, you can come to Germany without any visa because it's the Schengen state. And yeah, I just traveled to Germany and wrote my entrance exam. Like at, at that time, we were like 100, like 1,200 people, and only like 150 of them were admitted, like all international students. Like, yeah, then we started our studies. Like, yeah, what do you need for Germany? You need the language skills of your program. Like, if you are going to study in English, you need to have very good English, otherwise German. And of course, you have to know your field of study, uh, be it mathematics, be it IT, be it engineering. You have to be very good at in your field. And during your studies, like, there is no discipline. Like, you don't have to come to university. The same like probably in the US. But in the end, you have to pass the exams, and everything is up to you. You can organize yourself. And this was for me at the beginning very difficult because, in Uzbekistan, like, there is a roll call system. You have to come, and everyone checks if you are coming or not. In Germany, no one like takes care. Like, they're not disturbed about if you're coming or not coming. That's why like this self-discipline was at the beginning very difficult for me, but I believe I get used to it. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I think on this note we can wrap it up. Thank you, Begzad. Thank you guys all for sharing this experience. I got to know you guys a little more as well today. And yeah, hopefully this was helpful for our people who were viewing and listening to us today. We're going to be doing this at least once a month, hopefully more often, right? And yeah, we can wrap this up on this note.
Yeah, and if you guys have any questions that we didn't get to, feel free to contact us on our email, which is team@uzbekdiaspora.com, or you could reach out to us personally or on any of our social media platforms.
TEAM@uzbekdiaspora, team@uzbekdiaspora.com. Thank you.
Thank you for all the engagement.
Thank you so much for joining, and this is all the beginning. We will really excited to do more of these. We talked so much, like we talked like an hour and a half. It was just so much that
I know.
I'm so happy.
That's definitely more than planned. Huh?
And we cannot wait to do more events like that. But yeah.
Okay, bye.
Yes, thanks so much, guys, for being with us.
Yep. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Good luck, everyone.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Sardar.